So the moon is up here in this position, which this is the general sky position. Card number 6.
And this was reversed.
Yes.
For me when I put it down.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you to look up the reverse meaning of the moon too on your phone because my phone's
filming.
Right. Let me
do you
just
want to give me
really
yours?
quickly. Let me do it really fast before my phone dies. So this is what is conscious. This is how and what you think about it all. This is what's coming in and through the mind. So
which is funny that it's the moon because that's
the sun is the past. These cards are right next to each other.
Yeah.
They are a dynamic in a way, like a dynamic duo. So let me just get this. So this is a very emotional way of thinking about things. If this is what's coming into the mind, this is a very emotional way of looking at things then.
Yeah.
The reverse meaning is the release of fear, repressed emotion, and inner confusion. So we already have a context over confusion, a very confused mind. How you think about it all is very confusing. So the moon reverse indicates that you have been dealing with illusion, fear, and anxiety. And now the negative influences of these energies are subsiding. You are working through your fears and anxieties, understanding the impacts they have on your life and how you can free yourself from such limiting beliefs. This is a truly liberating and transformational experience. You may be trying to bury feelings even deeper within your subconscious so you can now avoid your darker shadows. This may not be ready to face you may not be ready to face your emotions, pushing them to the side and pretending as if there is nothing wrong. This strategy might work in short term, but eventually you will need to resurface these emotions and deal with them head on. The moon reverse can also show you that you are receiving intuitive messages and psychic downloads, but are struggling to understand what they mean for you. The message may be confusing.
Psychic downloads.
Mm-hmm. The messages may be confusing. Your interpretation differs from what you read elsewhere. When the moon is reversed, you are being called to listen to your inner voice and not the voice of someone else. Trust that the answers you need are already within you and tune into your inner guidance system to hear those answers. Pay attention to your dreams and keep a dream diary because this is how many of your subconscious messages will be relayed to you. If you are still stuck, record the messages and receive and come back to them later when you have more clarity. That has to do, I think, with directly this reading.
Yeah.
This reading is coming to you, and you might not even really directly. These words that I'm saying might have barnacles on them, and like they, you're not hearing these actual underlying messages that could be very, very helpful to you.
Again, because of that fear, that anxiety that doesn't allow you to face the truths that words hold, that advice hold, that other people hold for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I also think what was interesting with this card was like listening to yourself above almost all other, like, don't let other people's
true, because this is the sun. It's all about the inner voice, what it was saying.
Yeah.
And this may be that you're not even really hearing your own side of things.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even having a voice in this decision
like
that
this
you're
voice
making.
in the past, like, you are almost like not like going towards her, like you have negated or something, and like you need to go back to this.
Yeah. Well, it's
like that ability to look at yourself as this like bright shining sun that like knows itself, that is and that is an internal like knowledge of truth.
Yeah.
That the moon is like, so this card is saying like it's reflecting this, like literally the moon reflects the sun, so like the moon can't even be visible without this.
Yeah,
without the sun.
You're not going to be able to see clearly if you keep imagining that you can't be yourself anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like you you have to not see that as completely, totally passing away. Because I really feel like the past a lot of the time sets this gloomy mood on like something, unless it's a bad card, what you're moving away from. You're being released of this thing, but in a lot of ways that's your own self-understanding in this case. And the ways that you're reflecting on it is very, like, that's all you can think about in this situation.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to read this just short description, and this could just be some kind of antidote to how you're thinking about it all. So when you get the moon in a reading, there is nothing to do but yield to the feelings. If you try to figure things out intellectually, you will fail. The moon is a sign of the unconscious. You may as well go with the flow. If you can't open yourself to being in the moment and not trying to figure out what lies ahead, you can enter into the darkness with eagerness and courage. If you can trust in the higher powers and guidance you intuitively, let me start over with that sentence. If you can open yourself to being in the moment and not trying to figure out what lies ahead, if you can enter the darkness with eagerness and courage, if you can trust in the higher powers to guide you intuitively through the journey of darkness and the unknown, then you will learn from your voyage and gain consciousness as your initiatory gift. To imagine the friendly darkness inherent in this journey towards unconsciousness, try to envision going down into the deepest chamber of a pyramid, or image in the innermost, look at that, in the innermost, the chamber of the pyramid, or imagine the innermost sanctuary of a sacred cave of the Paleolithic European ancestors, or try to think what a Native American might have felt like in a pueblo going down into the great kiva to await rebirth into sunshine. Finally, let your feelings float back to your own experience of growing in the amniotic fluids until finally, when the time came, you were born from the safe dark womb space into the light. The moon suggests a good time for dreaming in order to deepen your understanding of the transformation in which you are engaged. You might try your hand at dream work, keeping a journal or writing dreams whenever possible and working with them in a number of interesting ways. You may want to interpret them according to one popular symbol system, as such as those developed by Anne Faraday, Patricia Garfield, or Stephen Williams. Or you may already do this and want to reach further into your psyche through dream yoga or lucid dreaming. The word lucid does not imply rationality, but an almost super rational ability to enter into the dream world consciously and intact with your dreams as they occur. You may wish to share your dreams with a friend or lover, simply letting yourself feel what they mean in a non-interpretive way as well. Another way of tuning into the moon is to get into your own menstrual clock and see how your personal cycle corresponds with that of the moon. Or you can chart your emotional and physical energies all through the month and examine these biorhythms in light of the moon's phases of waxing, full, and waning.
Cool. So we go to
Justice.
What is this card's position again?
Future.
The future, yeah.
Justice. Justice as the future position, which is the card that you will inevitably come across.
Mm-hmm.
When you get the Justice card in a reading, you are coming to a consciousness about your place in the universal scheme of things. Perhaps you are in a telepathic contact with other people or life forms in this time. Maybe you can feel the whole world speaking. Like the tree in the Mother Peace image, you may be especially close to the earth right now, grounded and rooted in her wisdom. Listen for the oracle, sign, or omen that will guide you to your next stage of growth. Again, that's reflected here.
Yeah.
With seeing something that's popping up and then, like, taking the risk.
Like I was talking about the arrows. Like, the surprising arrows of, like, faith.
So something is coming up. So you, in some way, there is some way that you can feel karma working in your life. Maybe you are winning a lawsuit or a custody case. Maybe you are moving into a new position or career. Or you may have some new sense of yourself as powerful and moving through life with purpose. Like the women quietly listening and communing beneath a tree, you may feel a particularly strong sense of equilibrium at this time. Perhaps some conflict in your life has come to a resolution, or things have worked out after a period of imbalance. Things are setting themselves right again, and you can feel your own peace returning as a result of this adjustment. You may feel like breathing a sigh of relief, knowing the struggle is in some sense over for the moment. You are moving to accept your reality and responsibility for your past choices. You may feel more mature than usual, at home with your decisions, blessed by a self-confidence that is wired to the universal will. You are flowing with the natural cycles of life, allowing natural laws. Whatever you have been waiting for is about to materialize. What you have needed is taking place. What you understand is what is happening and is based on past actions that have karmic results. If you don't feel entirely at ease with your situation at the moment, then ask yourself what seems to be out of balance. If you have made a mistake with consequences that are manifesting now, then forgive yourself and go on. This is a lesson for you to be guided by. If someone has hurt you or things seem unfair, let go of the hurt and let justice prevail. Once you have accepted your fate and understand what brought it about, any disease will flow away and any dis-ease will flow away and you will feel at one again. Sometimes the balancing that nature provides for us doesn't feel so good for our personality selves. Maybe you have been ignoring your responsibility in some area, and suddenly this is brought home to you, to your consciousness somehow. Maybe you have a deadline or a project you haven't completed, and suddenly you must work overtime to finish it, such as finishing nursing school. Or perhaps you haven't spent enough time alone with yourself and in nature, quiet and reflective and self-nurturing, so you get sick. Nature works in calm, quiet ways, giving us what we need rather than what we want sometimes. The Justice card means that you can tune into the rightness of your situation if you make the effort to understand it fully.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.